My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Slay the Spire. It has been a day since last we spoke. The winter season has just set in Australia, and gosh, do my my throws and note know it. My nose and throat know it. Good lord. I have been congested just for the past couple of days, which has made it a little difficult to record, as you might imagine. Seeming to be on the mend now, so let's get back on that grind. Speaking of that grind, the developers have been wild and frantic and furious with their updates for the defects, so let's talk about what the latest beta patches have been. Specifically, the content added a new relic, Potion Belt, which just gives you an extra potion slot. There's also a new card, Electrodynamics, which is a 2 energy rare power for the defect. The text is lightning hits all enemies. The upgraded version does not change the cost, but changes the effect from lightning hits all enemies to lightning hits all enemies. If there is only one enemy, hit that enemy twice. This includes lightning hits from evokes. As a result, Electrodynamics is single-handedly capable of creating Tempest runs to be insane. Like, they previously were pretty good, but this takes them ridiculously over the top by effectively doubling your X cost if you're casting it with a full complement. But on top of that, power builds become ridiculously more powerful because have a Storm in your deck and an Electrodynamics, and suddenly everything is taking a ridiculous amount of damage just while you play powers. It is ridiculous, and I love it, and also would not be surprised if it was nerfed. Gameplay, Loop has been changed. Loop now previously used to be a 2 energy power. It was uncommon for the defect, and it upgraded to be 1 cost. The card text stayed the same the entire time, which was at the start of your turn, your rightmost orb triggers. And now it is, the upgrade makes it trigger an additional time, and they also stack in a different way. This is something that we experienced in the last episode. I had multiple loops, and it would stack the rightmost orb, it would trigger at the start of a turn, and then the second rightmost orb would trigger at the start of an additional, would trigger at the start of a turn because of the loop stacking, which seems weird to me because the card text is your rightmost orb triggers at the start of a turn. Why is the stack version of that triggering my next rightmost orb rather than just triggering my rightmost orb an additional time? Well, now it stacks by doing that, by triggering the rightmost orb an additional time rather than changing how many different orbs trigger. I sincerely appreciate that because it makes dark builds much more viable. Especially also having a lower cost loop makes dark builds so much more viable. Gameplay, the Steam card was buffed. This is a card that I much derided for being garbage. It's been buffed to decrement by 1 instead of 2. So previously it was 6 block. Every time you play this card, reduce the amount of block you gain by 2. And the upgraded version was 8 block. So now it's reduced by 1, and the upgraded version is just 7 block. So it's 6 block reduced by 1 and then 7 block reduced by 1 on the upgraded version. I still don't think it's that good, but it's better than it was. And the run history now also shows if you have used the Singing Bowl. Hell yes. Any of these other ones particularly important? No, none whatsoever. Let's pop that back down to 7 because in my casual play, I've accidentally gotten significantly further than I have been in the series so far. Removing a card from my deck is always an appealing option, but then I run into, like, I usually remove a strike, right? And then I run into the Gremlin knob and I die, which, you know, isn't good. Okay, there's a 1 elite path with 6 question marks, a shop and a rest. That's pretty good. It's got a relatively late elite as well. I'm actually considering transfer. No, because we do have a relatively early shop, so I don't want to transform 2 cards. I'm considering trading in the boss relic. I gotta be honest. Let's go. Okay, White Beast statue. Potions always drop after combat. I'm not the world's largest fan of this. The reason I cast Zap there, which only does 3 damage rather than a strike that does more, is because I wanted to enable dual cast. So instead I did 21 damage rather than 6. You know, to me that seems like a positive development. Okay, zap deal cost. Awesome. Liquid bronze, gain 3 thorns. Okay, so in my casual play for the defect, again, I do the casual play basically just so that I can try and learn about the defect at a decent rate so that I can give you good information rather than just floundering around for a bunch of episodes. In my casual play for the defect, I have found a couple of builds to be the primary successful builds that I could run. I'll talk about them, and then I'll talk about the way they have been changed with the inclusion of electrodynamic. So the first powerful one that I found that is quite consistent, quite readily powerful, is the all-for-one scrape zero cost deck. It's pretty good. You just take a go for eyes, you know, you take go for the eyes, flash of steel, beam cell, maybe streamline depending on how many times you can play it, that kind of thing. And then you use scrape to dig for those cards, you play them all out, and then you use all for one to bring them back into your hand and you play them all again, and you get a ridiculous amount of value out of that. That's a pretty good deck. I also think that there is a ridiculously powerful deck in the Frost Orb deck, where you literally just stack Frost Orbs all of the time, and you can translate that into damage basically at your own leisure, because you're fully defended almost all the time. So you slot a Dark Orb in there, perhaps. Or maybe you get a Blizzard in that deck or something like that, right? You just defend yourself ridiculously and nothing can touch you. Then there's also the power build. This is heavily enabled by relics, but can be done without them using Amplify and especially Storm. You just play a ridiculous amount of powers. You use Storm to convert the powers that you're playing into offense, because with Storm, every single time you play a power, you channel a lightning. That's a pretty good build. It is usually quite quick to kill, especially if you end up with Mummified Hand, which will enable you to make that into a degenerate build, because Mummified Hand, whenever you play a power, reduce another card in your hand to cost 0, or the Bird-Faced Urn, whenever you play a power, heal by 2 HP, and then it just becomes basically impossible to kill you. And then there's a Lightning build, which is a little bit more tenuous, because you have to set up the Lightning build and get all of the effects really, really quickly, and usually that requires using some sort of a Frost build to stabilize, and then a Lightning build after it. So these are 3 of the strongest builds that I found. 3? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the strongest builds that I've found kind of consistently in the Defect set. Outside of that, however, there is the new inclusion of electrodynamics. Now, I mentioned what electrodynamics is earlier, but long story short, lightning hits all enemies, or the upgraded version, if there's only one enemy, hit that enemy twice. That makes lightning builds so much more powerful, so it brings them onto the level with all of the other ones that I mentioned before in terms of viability. But it actually makes power builds insane, because if you have Storm and you have electrodynamics, suddenly you only ever need to play powers, and you are not only ridiculous at fighting single targets, because it's doubling your effectiveness against single targets, but it's also ridiculous in AoE, which is something that power builds previously had a little bit of weakness with. That's a lot of talking, basically to say that I'm probably going to take Hologram here. Okay. So I'm incentivized to remove Dual Cast because I traded in my early Relic, and the thing is, if I draw Dual Cast before I draw Zap, it's useless. It's a dead card. I know that the math doesn't technically work like this, but on average, let's assume that about 50% of the time the Dual Cast is drawn before the Zap. I'm ignoring the case in which they are drawn in the same hand. I know. But let's assume that, because we need to make the maths a little more malleable. Then Dual Cast is bad in that situation. It's literally nothing. And especially in situations where I end up fighting the Gremlin Knob, it becomes really rough. Okay, so now I probably want to remove a Strike. I do need to upgrade Hologram as soon as possible. Because I really want hologram to be able to bring back zap consistently. Well, I mean, like, I can do it here, zap, hologram, zap, but then I take 7 damage, which is, you know, 7 more damage than I want to take. So instead, I'll only take 5 because I need to set up for the possibility of lethal next turn. Wowzers, that's not lethal next turn. Alrighty then. Weakness potions handy, rebound, skim, and cool-headed. See, none of these are archetype defining yet. I'm actually tempted to wait until I go to the store before I decide what to do. I'm going to take a cool-headed casually. Oh! Data Disc. Start each combat with 1 focus. That is an extraordinarily powerful card. Relic, of course. I'm tempted to take Storm and try and go for the power build. I think I have to, because I don't really have anything else to define my run by right now. Like, if I took Reinforced Body there, like, it's good, but it's not helping me yet. Alright. Yeah, I'll double defend here. Take only 2 this turn. Hey, I did get this out. Awesome. I was actually hoping for something else, but this is fine. I wanted to defend. Awesome. And you're dead. Sure. Take Capacitor to go along with my other card. Alright, I'm going to use the Liquid Thorns here because I am going to gain a potion after this combat, courtesy of the White Beast statue. And obviously, debuffing these enemies isn't going to do anything, and artifacting isn't going to do anything, so may as well use something that will actually have an effect. Taking a hell of a lot of damage here, but thankfully this is the final elite that I have to encounter on this floor. Electrodynamics would be so good. Oh, really wanted that frontliner to just die in that. It's extremely difficult for me to get someone off the board right now. Put back a defense. Damn it. I was pretty much relying on that front one dying there so that I could weaken this sentry to die next turn. That is to say now this turn. Beautiful. And strike, hologram. Well, I knew I was defensible if I didn't get what I wanted there. Oh, potion belt. Upon pickup, gain 1 potion slot. That's actually really handy considering we have the White Beast statue. Now, Thunderstrike is a way to translate our lightning channeling into damage, and we can channel lightning quite ridiculously with this build so far. So what I really want is electrodynamic, but in a pinch, I'll take this. Letter open every time you play 3 skills in a single turn, deal 5 damage to all enemies. That's going to happen quite commonly, actually, because we're going to be using Zap, Hologram, Zap. Ooh, boy. All right. Time to weaken you. Actually going to take a attack potion here as well. That draws back my Zap. That's not bad. So 9. Yeah, I actually split you this turn to prevent that incoming. I should have considered the possibility of using the Ancient Artifact the turn before. Okay. All for 1. Lightning on the back line. Beautiful. Self-repair, static discharge. I think I want to take the self-repair personally, just because I'm having a little bit of difficulty blocking myself. Who's the boss in the end of this floor? Ooh, okay. This guy does a lot of multi-hits, which makes it so much more appealing to take the static discharge. I think I actually want the 2 camp spaces so that I can upgrade Hologram and then Storm. Yeah. With the max HP there, then we'll upgrade Storm. Especially due to this speed potion, I think we're actually going to be able to defend ourselves against this boss. I'm mad about that. That was probably the correct play, but I'm mad about it. Also pretty mad about this one, to be honest. Good gosh, this hand isn't going that well for us. I haven't even channeled that much lightning yet. Alright, there we go. Thunderstrike for the kill. That's effectively what we're waiting for in a lot of situations, just Thunderstrike for the kill. I'm actually looking at the leap here because we don't have defensive cards. Like, Cool-Headed was supposed to be one of them, but Cool-Headed is now pretty much just a dead card in this deck. Since we have 10 max HP right now, the enemy is only going to do 1/6 on their second turn. So that's actually better for us than if we rest and buff him. Here I'm going to smith the Static Discharge because I'm actually intending on allowing him to hit me for 6 damage on the second turn. Storm, Capacitor, Static Discharge. Beautiful. That's a ridiculous opening turn. So now you hit me for 6 damage. And if you hit me for 6 damage, I am going to get 12 Lightning Orbs, which means that I will have channeled to this point 14 Lightning Orbs. 14 by 7 is 70, 28. It's 90. Yeah, 98. So we can get the Thunderstrike to deal 98 damage. Yeah. Oh, not even to mention how much damage these Lightning Orbs are going to do when they evoke themselves on the enemy. Okay, well, first thing that I'm looking at here is, well, I'm obviously casting Zap, right? So now this is 7 by 15. 7 by 15 is 105. So if I throw the Fear Potion, I can actually just kill with the Thunderstrike here. Beautiful. Poison Potion couldn't give me Electrodynamics, eh? That's unfortunate. That's actually really unfortunate. I think we take Creative AI here just to get more powers to consistently activate our Storm. Oh, this is really bad. We pretty desperately wanted some energy here. In lieu of that, I'm considering taking the Astrolabe and transforming 3 of my strikes just so that I can upgrade them to possibly be powers. Yeah. Or, worst case scenario, just defensive cards. Okay, we got Reboot, we got Skim, and we got Loop. Eh, okay. Not bad. Not bad, actually. Quite good. Early Shop would be very much appreciated. Not only have I got an early shop, but I've got an early shop and then the decision afterwards if I want to go to another shop and then avoid all elites, which is pretty good. This is a problem. Yeah, this is a problem. What do I do here? What do I do here? I think I leap Hologram Leap just to deal 5 damage to everyone. That's a really garbage opening hand for us. Also, the fact that both of these enemies front and back are buffing is really bad. Okay, Static Discharge is ridiculously important this turn. So incoming damage is 24-30. It's 30 incoming damage. But it is in 18 different instances, which means that we are going to trigger 32 orbs. All right, I will defend a little bit. I am accepting a lot of damage here, though. Okay, that actually met one of the best case scenarios there. And that's that the backliner was killed before the backliner even got a chance to act. I gotta be honest, boot sequence actually has some appeal here. Just so that I can defend myself while I start the build. Art of War, if you don't play any attacks during your turn, gain an extra energy next turn. That's fine. There's a lot of turns we don't play any attacks. Storm is obviously the most powerful thing here. Closely followed by White Noise and then Removal. Although I'm probably taking Auto Shields for the defense. Gosh, I would love some extra power. Alright, let's artifact ourselves here. Perfect time for it. Now I'm trying to think, do I zap, hologram zap, or do I static discharge? It's one of the two. You could have played that whole hand with a mummified hand. Would have been glorious. Oh, damn! Very clutch auto shields right there. Probably White Noise, then Creative AI. Oh. It is extremely White Noise Creative AI. So if I wanted to reboot here, it would basically just be to fish for Zap. Which is actually probably worth doing here, yeah. That's fine. Just because the enemy's dead next turn. Thanks to Loop. Okay, Block Potion, really good pickup there. I would take a second Cool-Headed if this was a defensive tech, but it's, like, extremely not. Static Discharge. I mean... No. Who's our boss on this floor? Yeah. Alright, it's not Static Discharge. Smithing does need to occur. I think we need the other Storm to also be in our opening hand. Don't really have a choice here because I don't want that curse. Let's skim first. Skimming was probably actually a bad idea there. Yeah, because I should have just played Storm and waited. At least Creative AI might be a lower cost for us right now. I mean, not bad. I'm very likely to use a speed potion this fight. Probably using a block potion this turn. Let's use a speed potion first. I'm gonna hologram back something that was low cost that I can play. All right, we'll hologram back the White Noise. Oh, buffer is pretty good. So I'm taking no damage this turn, so there's no reason to use my block potion anyway yet. Because I might just get the kill this turn. Which, in fact, it does look like I'm about to do. Yep, that'll do it. Regen Potion. Alright, great pickup there. I don't think I take a second hologram. While Barrage is a reasonable amount of damage, slowing down my power playing is not that great for us. I am considering actually diving into these two elites. It will make life pretty difficult for us, but we are very behind the 8-ball on relics. I'm going to do it. Bottled Lightning. Come on, pick up, choose a skill card at the start of your combat. That will be in your opening hand. Well, I mean, the one that immediately comes to mind is White Noise, right? Because I'm going to have Storm and Storm in my opening hand, so having White Noise to play another power in my opening hand is pretty big. Storm. Biased Cognition. Yeah, I'm going to Speed Potion, and I'm actually just going to expend all of my potions here. Because we are about to take DMG points, my friends. That's actually a garbage hand. Oh boy. Okay, you're defending this turn, so that means you're not summoning next turn. Or rather, you are summoning next turn, probably. I want to go Capacitor Loop. I mean, this is 7 by 642. No. Then we'll hologram back a Zap and play it. Yeah, that was a much better idea. Alright, well, the enemies are already dead. Bronze Scales, whenever you take damage, deal 3 back, as well as a power potion. Heat Sinks is... I mean, pre-upgraded? Kind of. Wow, that's an early Echo Form. Okay. Because that's Echo Form, I'm not going to use the power potion here. I otherwise may have. That worked out pretty well. No, that's not going to kill. Let's boot sequence. Get some cool-headed in here. All right. Should be able to kill this turn with any luck. Yeah, that'll do it. Skill potion, add a random skill to your hand. Second capacitor, sure. Capacitor is actually more important as a power than it is as the effective capacitor for us right now. Electrodynamics. Lightning now hits all enemies. The upgraded version of this is the one that I really, really want to talk about at some point. Am I? Okay, I can't even analyze it here though. All right, let's play power potion. Loop, it's pretty good. Loop. Electrodynamics, defend ourselves. Unfortunately, the card that I just got excited about actually does nothing for us right now. Should have considered that. All right. Seek. Seek and ye shall receive. That's actually kind of annoying to give a Seek in this hand because Auto Shields is the card that I want. It's the only card in my discard pile. I'm going to reboot that entire hand. Okay. Well, now I do get to Seek my Auto Shields, which is handy. So I'm about to take 10 damage here. But I also get to deal a pretty ridiculous amount. And any lightning draw will kill. Okay. There's another zap, and then loop for the kill. Beautiful. Pair, raising max HP by 10, as well as Dex Potion, Turbo... Oh no. Do I take Turbo? I have a lot of high cost cards in my deck, and I do have the ability to draw a ridiculous amount as well. We've got the upgraded skin, as well as heat sinks. I think we take Turbo. It's basically just... I can't risk this one. Because we've already got 3 innate cards, right? It's actually remove cool-headed. I believe it's remove cool-headed. Now here I think I need to upgrade the white noise. This is always in our opening hand, and basically this is accelerating us by 1 energy in the first turn. I basically just bought myself a lantern. Unfortunately, you don't always draw the right things. Probably using Turbo. Playing my capacitor. Skim for the card draw. Alright, let's reboot. Boot sequence is a great pickup here. the incoming damage is 14, 21, 14, 21, 35. See, the thing is, I think if I loop creative AI, I'm actually in the best position, which is also the least defended position. See, now I want a turbo yeah, I do. 91 damage is worth the energy debt. This is one of the extraordinarily few times I would play that card. There's our first Void. Now, I know that the enemy was going to start doing debuffs, which is why I was kind of pretty chill about all that. Okay, that Lightning Strike is actually just lethal right now. Void, yeah, Void is extremely overperforming here. Void, wow, Turbo, I mean. Nova. Deal 3 damage to all enemies equal to, or rather, deal damage to all enemies equal to 3 times the number of powers played this combat. So in our first turn, we play 3 powers that will deal 9 to all enemies. The upgraded version will deal 4 times, so it will deal 12 to all enemies. 12 to all enemies on 1 energy is pretty good. But then in total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, quote unquote 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Nova is just ridiculous. It's great AoE for us. Basically, it's taking the place of electrodynamics in our AoE. The extremely shitty thing here is that I need to take Sozu, despite the fact that I have White Beast Statue, and despite the fact that I have potion slots. I really need the energy. I'm going to take Lizard Tail. Basically, I'm taking Lizard Tail so that if I get to the final boss, I have 2 chances. I don't like that I took Lizard Tail there. I really, really, really wanted to take Sozu. Yeah, there's Electrodynamics. Should have played the hologram there. Would have done 5 damage to all enemies. It's my bad. I mean, that's going into my discard pile, and I'm probably not getting back to my discard pile in this fight. Yeah, right. Self-repair would be a great pickup for us. Hello, self-repair. I think it might actually be focus. I think I take the curse, but I heal. And the heal is significant. It's pretty super significant, in fact. There's a second self-repair as well as a Nova. Or we could take Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power card to your deck, it is immediately upgraded. Because from now on, pretty much all we're going to do is add power cards to our deck. Do I need more power cards? Not really. You know, I think the correct decision is Fairy in a Bottle card removal. So Fairy in a Bottle, between Fairy in a Bottle and the Lizard Tail, we have so much defense. If I duplicate the white noise that's put in my opening hand via Bottled Lightning, it doesn't give me another white noise, does it? In my opening hand? I mean, this is probably the card that I want to copy anyway. We'll see. It doesn't. For the record, it does not. I'm going to use a Dex Potion here because Otherwise, I block myself for 15 and then the enemy hits me for 16 and wastes my buffer. I want my buffer to still be active. Did that in the wrong order. It should have been heat sinks first, though. Thankfully, I'm still going to draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, you can see how ridiculous this build is right now. And this is without, like, data disk or anything like that. Self-repair. Play self-repair for the kill as well. Regen potion. Great pickup. Okay. I want to smith creative AI, because energy is our big problem right now. Like, Art of War is providing a ridiculous value to us. The fact that we're relying on Art of War for that is... I mean, it's frankly insane. I'm going to use an attack potion as well as a regen potion here, because I know that I'm going to need both. This fight's going to be rough. Yeah, 40 damage hit. It's pretty bad. I mean, only taking 12 damage there is... That's pretty hot. That's pretty damn good. Do we have the draw currently? We don't. Ugh. Unless we have heat sinks active, turbo can be really garbage. Okay. Well, there's heat sinks. So now I can hologram turbo, play turbo. Because the thing is, this deck needs to go faster because I put bias cognition out on the field. So if this deck doesn't go fast, we're just gonna die. Suddenly our powers won't do anything. Never mind. Kunai, every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain nothing, because we don't really do that, ever. Okay. Glowing Tesseract. Ah, this one's rough. I think I just take the 1, though. I think I take Dark Shackles just as a defensive card. Again, this deck isn't ridiculous, but we have so many... Oh, Runic Dodecahedron, if your HP is full, gain energy at the start of each turn. All right, we need to now rest. I mean, Storm is insane. Anything else here? No, not really. Yeah, but we now need to get to full HP. Can I get to full HP off of this? Yes, I can. Beautiful. That's the best upgrade I could have. Birdface Stern would have been really handy, unfortunately. Not a thing we can do. I will take an energy potion, however. Blue Candle. Curse cards can now be played. Playing a curse will make you lose 1 HP and exhaust the card. I am going to dodge the Elite. Because unless it gives me Mummified Hand, I really don't care right now. Storm, Buffer, Creative AI. I think I actually have to save the power potion for later, which means I take 1 damage right now. See, the thing is, I really need to try and finish this fight without taking damage so that I can rest. But you know what? No, I'm not going to take the risk. Because what if I use the power potion and don't even get anything from it? All right, reboot. Beautiful. All that worked out pretty well. Hey, what up, Apotheosis? There is a huge problem in this. Spheric Guardian is going to be basically impossible for us to hit. So I'm pretty much relying on killing it this turn, which I actually don't think is a pipe dream here. Yeah, that's it done. Goodbye forever. Focus Potion is way more important than a Explosive Potion. And then here I'm going to Smith to get the other Storm to be an 8. So now our opening hand is reliable. It's always going to be these cards. So we play a Focus Potion. We play the Power Potion as well. It's Capacitor, sure. Now we are going to play all of our powers. Oh my god, another Storm. We are going to play all of our powers in this fight. That's just the way it's going to be. As soon as the Awakened one was our enemy, we pretty much just had to decide, all right, well, we're going all in on that. Because the powers are all of our damage. Now, auto shields, because that's actually a ridiculous amount of block for what I invest. Dark Shackles on the backline is insane, frankly. I'm actually considering using the Energy Potion and then 19 by 7. So 19 by 7. Well, 20 by 7 is 140, so it's 133. 133? It's pretty big. Yeah, all right. That's a pretty big amount of damage right there. And we have 2 things ready to bring us back to life. So, call it a hunch, but I think we're fine here. And every time we play a power, we're generating 4 lightning orbs, each of which is evoking for 10 damage, and we still haven't even played the... Oh, we don't even have a defragment in our deck. Why don't I think we had a defragment? Now, your opening attack is going to be 40... 50? Yeah, 50. This is 40 by base plus your strength. So 30 damage from Nova. I mean, that's actually kind of weak. Gotta be honest, this is a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. Okay. I can play powers with absolute impunity right now as well, which is super handy. Alright, so Turbo, Zap. Now, if I skim, I can draw the Thunderstrike, and then if I hologram, I can take Turbo, use Turbo, play the Thunderstrike, and win the game. All right. So, that was a mixed lightning / power build. But the thing that I want to point out is that that was a mixed lightning / power build that didn't even have the core component. The one that I argued takes those to a completely new level. And that is to say, it did not have card library, blue. Scroll down. It did not have electrodynamics, which upgrades to if there's only one enemy, lightning strikes twice. We would have killed so much faster. Effectively, we ended up using Thunderstrike rather as our electrodynamics. But good gosh, that went surprisingly well. Also, we didn't even end up triggering the Lizard Tail or the Fairy in a Bottle, so I feel robbed, frankly. The Focus Potion that we got and the Power Potion that we got directly before that final fight was super clutch, though. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time, Maxine.